Regrets? You've got a few. Mistakes? We all make them. Now let's try to avoid them. That's our theme for this edition of the Business 360 podcast. I'm Brendan Howard, Senior Editor for Advanced Star Communications Veterinary Group. This month, we start off with an unfortunate story from veterinary law expert Doug Jack. This veterinarian's case before the licensing board was hurt because of a little something written in a client's permanent record.
My favorite case in this regard is my client who, to the credit of the owners of the dog, they realized that their dog was pathologically aggressive. And they had tried various behavioral things unsuccessfully. They decided that they needed to euthanize the dog. Euthanasia was scheduled for Monday. The Saturday before, they take the dog for the last romp in the woods, and it finds a porcupine. And it's a mess. And they drag this dog out of the woods, throw it in the back of the pickup truck, and they're off. 20 minutes later, they arrive at the clinic. The waiting room is filled with other people who have prearranged appointments. The receptionist does a good thing. This dog comes in, it's vocalizing, it's thrashing, it's bleeding, it's not happy. She points at it and says, "Get that thing out of here." Happy thought, that sets the tone. So they retreat to the parking lot and they wait 10 minutes, 20 minutes. After 30 minutes, they get ticked off. The receptionist forgets to tell the practitioner that they've arrived. And they're just going to euthanize the dog, right? I mean, we're going to do it Monday. Let's do it now. The clients get mad. They go to a neighboring clinic. They have the dog euthanized. In the subsequent complaint letter that came into the licensing board, which was extensive, one of the allegations raised by the client was the practitioner didn't see us because he didn't think he was going to get paid. Interesting. The facts don't really support that allegation. I'm on the phone with my client. I said, "This thing about not getting paid, what's that about?" He said, "I don't know. I haven't got a clue. Don't know what they're talking about." Well, okay. I mean, we'll guide you through this thing. Send me the medical records. He says, "For this day?" I said, "No, there aren't any. Give me the medical records for your life with this dog, because that's what's going to go to the licensing board." And on about page 5 of 12 pages of medical records, at the top of the page, in letters that I'm guessing are 50 pica font, are the words, "Never want to see this cheap bastard again." Now I ask you, ladies and gentlemen, on the issue of not doing the work because he didn't think he was going to get paid, is this helpful evidence or unhelpful evidence? No editorial comments about your clients, ladies and gentlemen. Buy a punching bag, take up running, do something else.
Every business needs a website. Your veterinary clinic is no different. But you want current and potential clients to be wowed by your site, not annoyed. Listen as practice management consultant Karen Gavzer warns you of the worst mistakes you can make in a website.
The biggest mistake that I see people making is making it way too complicated. They've got little things scooting across the screen, they've got bells and whistles and the stuff loading and different patterns coming through, and it is just a distraction. In fact, almost an annoyance. I came to your website because I want to get to know you. I don't need to be entertained. I just want to get to know you. So you want to keep it real simple. Another huge mistake that I find people make on websites is they fail to feature some of the very cool things about themselves. Do you, for instance, see exotics? Do you offer acupuncture or any kind of alternative medicine on your site? Do you have client-friendly hours, like open late on Thursdays or Tuesdays? Let us know what's special about you. Let us know what kind of a practice we've got.
If you've ever felt cramped in a hospital, either new or old, you know where Dan Chappell is coming from. This veterinary hospital architect reveals veterinarians' biggest regret after building their dream hospital. Don't let it be yours.
I think one of the things I see that really saddens me when I talk to someone after a building process and they say, "My goodness, I wish I'd have built more." And that's disappointing, because what that tells me is that we didn't think far enough into the future. We really didn't do our homework in programming. We should be thinking 5 years out at a minimum, and perhaps 10 years out. And I know that's difficult, particularly for a first-time builder, but you really need to, because the services that you want to provide, you just can't provide them in the future if you don't have room to do so. One of the things that everyone always says, and you can look back in veterinary economics articles where we have articles of the hospitals of the year, and you'll see their comments: wish we'd have built bigger, wish we'd have built another exam room, or I sure wish we had more runs. And those things could be avoided if they would just think ahead and just plan for those services that they want to provide. Both medical and ancillary services need to be thought out.
Wrapping up our podcast this month is the always engaging Shawn McVeigh, who has advice for your team members and you if you're prone to tears in the veterinary hospital. McVeigh shares when it's appropriate to blubber a bit and when it's time to shut the floodgates.
When I confront you about a policy, it's not appropriate to cry. When I confront you about how you're dressed, it's not appropriate to cry. When a client tells you that they're unhappy with the service, it's not appropriate to cry. The only time it's appropriate to cry is if I physically or verbally, or someone physically or verbally attacks you. That's probably an appropriate response. And in sadness, that's an appropriate response. However, being an employee who cries when addressed in a normal and professional fashion is really a warning sign that that person isn't fit for the workplace. Normal people don't freak out when they get confronted.
That's it for this Business 360 podcast. If you've got comments, questions, or ideas for future podcasts, email us at ve@advancedstar.com or visit us on the web at dvm360.com, click on Community, and post questions and comments in the Business 360 podcast forum. I'm Brendan Howard, and I'll see you next month with more one-on-one interviews, stories, and advice from big thinkers in veterinary business and management. Best wishes on good medical outcomes and good business.